They said no one could stop Spain, the empire where the sun never set. Gold from the New World, armies that crushed kingdoms, fleets that ruled the oceans. But in 1588, the impossible happened. The ocean turned against them. The mighty Spanish Armada, 130 warships, thousands of men, priests blessing cannonballs, banners of the Virgin fluttering in the wind, set sail to invade England. By the time it was over, Spain's dream of total domination had sunk beneath the waves. This wasn't just a battle, it was the moment Europe changed forever. Spain in the 1580s was unstoppable, rich, devout, and hungry for control. King Philip II believed God had chosen him to defend the faith, and across the Channel stood a small island, led by a queen who refused to kneel, Elizabeth I. She was excommunicated by the Pope, hunted by assassins, and haunted by plots to replace her. One of those plotters, her cousin Mary, Queen of Scots, she had executed. To Philip, that was the last straw. Elizabeth was not just an enemy, she was an offense to God, but behind his holy fury burned something more human: revenge. Elizabeth had unleashed pirates, men like Francis Drake, who plundered Spain's treasure ships and set their ports on fire. Spain's patience ran out. Philip ordered the construction of the largest fleet ever assembled, the invincible Armada. He didn't want to fight England, he wanted to erase it. The plan was simple on paper. The Armada would sail from Spain, join forces with the Duke of Parma's army in the Netherlands, then cross the Channel, land, and take London. England would fall, Catholicism restored, Elizabeth captured or dead. Simple, right? Every empire thinks that, until the sea gets involved. Philip's ships were grand but heavy, built for boarding, not speed. England's were smaller, sharper, faster. Under Lord Charles Howard and Sir Francis Drake, they had something the Spanish didn't: agility and innovation. In May 1588, the Armada left Lisbon, but from the start, disaster lurked. Storms tore through the fleet, supplies spoiled, a ship lost its anchor and drifted home. Still they pressed on, believing God was on their side. Late July, black sails appeared on England's horizon. Church bells rang, panic spread. Elizabeth's navy scrambled. Drake, legend says he was playing bowls when the news came. He looked up and said, "There's time to finish the game and still beat the Spaniards." It wasn't arrogance, it was confidence. The English fleet sailed from Plymouth to meet them. Then came the first clashes. The English refused close combat. Instead, they fired from a distance, long-range cannon fire, hit-and-run tactics, boom after boom after boom. Spanish ships, larger and slower, struggled to adjust. Days of battle followed, from Plymouth to Portland, Isle of Wight to Calais. The Armada held formation, the English kept pressing. But the Spanish couldn't break through. They anchored at Calais, waiting for Parma's troops. But the English had other plans. At midnight, Drake sent in 8 old ships, set ablaze and packed with explosives. The fire ships. Imagine the dark sea suddenly glowing orange, flames racing toward anchored galleons. The Spanish panicked. Chains snapped, anchors cut, ships collided in the chaos. Their perfect crescent formation shattered. When dawn came, the Armada was scattered. The English pounced. The Battle of Gravelines exploded. Cannon thundered. Smoke swallowed the sky. English guns blasted through Spanish masts and hulls. The Spanish tried to regroup, but the wind betrayed them. The Duke of Medina Sidonia, brave but overwhelmed, had to make a decision: retreat north around Scotland to escape. That's when nature took command. Storms rolled in like wrath itself. The North Atlantic ripped the Armada apart. Waves towered over decks. Ships slammed against rocks along the Irish coast. Men clung to wreckage, praying, freezing, drowning. The empire that thought it ruled the seas was being swallowed by them. When the survivors finally limped home, more than half the fleet was gone. Thousands dead. The invincible Armada lay shattered. When Philip II heard the news, he said, "I sent my ships to fight against men, not against the winds and waves." He accepted the loss as divine will, but the world saw it differently. The world saw the fall of a giant. England erupted in celebration. Church bells echoed for days. Elizabeth rode to her troops at Tilbury, dressed in armor, declaring, "I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king." The crowd roared. That speech became legend. The defeat of the Armada transformed England from a small island kingdom into a rising sea power. Spain's aura of invincibility cracked. Its dominance began to fade. England's confidence soared. In less than a century, it would control oceans Spain once ruled. But this wasn't just about nations. It was about human pride colliding with nature. A king who believed heaven guaranteed his victory. A queen who stood alone against the storm. And a moment when destiny chose sides. Every shattered ship, every drowned sailor changed history. The Protestant Reformation survived. The English Navy became a world force. The New World, its languages, its empires, its future, shifted course forever. All because of one campaign, one storm, one night of fire. So when you hear the defeat of the Spanish Armada, don't think of ships and cannons. Think of pride meeting reality. Think of how power drowns when it forgets humility. Think of how a storm decided the fate of empires. Spain's empire would linger, but it never truly recovered. England walked away with something priceless, belief that the impossible could be beaten. The sea, once Spain's weapon, became England's crown. The storm had spoken, and history never forgot its voice.